Shared a post on social. I'm sure you saw it with your former coach, John Danaher. Said that nature was healing, maybe implying that some of the beef there, the highly publicized beef, was quashed. If you had a chance to talk to either of them, any insight on that?
Nope, I have no idea. I had I had knowledge that they were going to have a meeting, but I'm just kind of focused on myself right now. So I really don't know.
Pretty good time in the world of professional grappling. UFC's continued investment in FPI, CGI planned again in August. Can you talk about how much responsibility you feel, kind of being one of the biggest stars in the sport and kind of carrying that torch for the UFC now?
Responsibility I feel for being the biggest guy in the sport. Yeah, I don't feel any responsibility at all. I just kind of I am myself. I do what I got to do, and I'll just take it one day at a time and have fun.
Another one of your former training partners, Gordon Ryan, him and Mikey had some beef recently last year, going back and forth about the use of PEDs in the sport. Obviously, they're on kind of opposite ends of the argument. You've always maintained that you do it the right way. Can you talk about that beef and any comments on their back and forth?
Well, I just think that using performance-enhancing drugs probably takes away from, the purity of the sport in the sense of like how good your technique is, how athletic you really are, because you can just overpower somebody. And also, like, a lot of these guys can just take steroids and not necessarily work out and build muscle. That's kind of like, that sounds like cheating, right? So, I would love it if every competition in jiu-jitsu was drug tested vigorously. And I look forward to the day that UFC commits to that.
How important is it for the continued advancement of the sport? Obviously, different organizations view it different ways. Do you think cleaning the sport completely of it is going to help it continue to kind of grow into the mainstream?
I definitely agree that I believe if jiu-jitsu was tested specifically in the UFC Fight Pass Invitational, because it is the kind of the main way of competing, I would say it's probably the most important aspect of it would be drug testing.
Let's talk about your match with Victor. Everyone kind of expected you guys to face each other last year at CGI. Obviously, he lost in the first round. Were you disappointed at all that you didn't get that rematch at CGI?
Disappointed, I think, would be like an emotion. I don't really have any emotions.
What adjustments do you think you need? Obviously, you guys have faced each other many times. What adjustments have you made going into this match where you'll finally be able to get the job done?
Yeah, I just have a better understanding of the sport and of my game plan and techniques, and I'll just go out there and implement my techniques against my opponent and just enjoy it.
Final prediction?
Nicky Rod via submission.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right here. When you say you have a better understanding of the sport, what exactly do you mean by that?
Well, jiu-jitsu is a knowledge-based sport, right? Obviously, you need attributes like I have great attributes, long arms, big hands, big feet, handsome. All those things work in my favor, and then you toss in knowledge upon that, just a better understanding of how to implement these techniques. Like maybe for the first year or two, I really only had like two ways of passing guard. That would be body lock and then knee cut. And then nowadays, I have much better understanding of passing guard, of submissions, of strategy as well. So, I think I'm going on my 7th year. This will be year 7 in June. So a lot of these guys have been in the sport for 15 plus years. So I'm definitely grasping a better understanding nowadays.
Nicky, every time you've grappled Victor, it's a very competitive match, and somehow he always comes out on top. I guess what you kind of already alluded to, like what's going to be different, but I guess looking back on those matches, what are your analysis on them?
Well, there's a few different aspects, like we have points nowadays in UFC, so it's not just, you don't just have a match and then this guy says, oh, I think this guy won. It's not an opinion-based match. It's a fact-based match. So if you score, you win. If you don't, you lose. I think that's a big aspect where previously we competed. It was strictly up to the judge's decision. And then, I think it just comes down to a better understanding of how to do jiu-jitsu. I progress very fast in this sport, and I have a great team behind me that helps me learn constantly, and I'm excited to implement these new techniques upon my opponent.
Good luck.
I saw Craig was back in Austin. I don't know if you guys crossed paths since he's been back, but you talk about your team helping you. What's it been like having Craig back in the gym?
Yeah, it's good having Craig. I mean, I saw him for. I mean, he was there for a day. That's all. That's all I need. Yeah, it's good to have, great to have a guy like that in the room. He has a different take on the sport. Where I'm very top heavy, I want to stay on top and dominate these guys from top position. He's really good in weird positions. So I think it just brings a different perspective to grappling when he's around.
Obviously, him and Danaher seem to be cool again. Are you and Danaher cool?
I'm cool with everybody. I don't care. All right, thanks.